so we don't have much time left, so I want to go and see if I can finish this up. And it's pretty important, so this is what's going to be happening. We have many different versions. We have many different versions of Windows 10. You know, it started back in 2015, and I'm going to go through those here real briefly to show you what's been happening. So essentially, if you have a Windows 10 machine, it had to have been from 2015 forward, which is the last pretty much 3.5 years or so. Before that it was Windows 7, before that was Windows 8, 8.1, blah, 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 blah. So, with the Windows 10, there's a lot of exciting new things happening in this 1903 update, which I'm going to touch on after we explain how everything updates, how long the updates last, etc., etc. It's very important for you because this new update has a lot of great features, which are going to speed up your computer. It's going to allow you to do a lot of other things, and I'm going to explain how you can get it. I have it on my computer. I joined this Windows Insider Club. Roger did the same thing. He downloaded a preview of it so we can get a little educated to help, you know, the club here. So essentially, Windows 10 again started out in 2015, and here's all the iterations of it over here with the release date of 1507, and it was in July 29th of 2015. That's pretty much when the release date was. And Home and Pro, it shows you all the different releases, all the way down to 1903, which is going to be released coming up here at the end of May. So you'll be seeing some changes here in the next couple of weeks. And let's just go here. Okay, the May update, which is 1903, formerly known as the April update, is expected to be released in late May. That's really ambiguous again, that word. If there are not a lot of delays or significant bugs that could force Microsoft to push the rollout, then they're going to release it on time. All righty then. Okay. There's a lot of performance productivities. The 1903 will be different to previous rollouts, as this time around, Microsoft will no longer force the feature update to the device. Thank God. Instead, once it's officially available, users will be able to receive a notification. It'll just pop up on your screen, and only when the user initiates the process manually. So they're going to click on Windows Update. The Windows Update will be downloaded and install the new version automatically. However, if your device is running a release that is nearing the end of its service, which is 18 months, then Windows 10 will try to install the feature update automatically. So it will no longer automatically put you into a new version. You're going to have to request it if you want the new update with some of the features that they have. So I'm going to be going over some of the features of the 1903 update, which will be available to you only if you request it by clicking on Update Windows. Then I'll show you how to do that to force it if you don't already know. Alrighty, everything new in Windows 10 update. Windows 10, the next update again is the 1903. It was codenamed 19H1, which is kind of cool because before it was, as you could see, they called them Threshold and Redstone, and now starting at the new 1903, they're going to call it 19H, which is, you know, 2019. And then eventually the third version, which you're already anticipating, is going to be into 2020. So they're looking ahead of these continuous releases. Here are the big changes. Now, Microsoft announced it's making big changes in the way Windows 10 updates, which is what we know, whether it installs or not. Specifically, Windows 10 will no longer automatically install big updates like the May 2019 update and October 2018 update every 6 months without your permission. Now, you'll see a notification and the choice will be yours when you want to install the update. Don't want to install the update? That's fine. You can keep using your current update for as long as it's supported with a security update, which is 18 months after the release. But once every 18 months, you will be forced to update to keep getting security fixes. This is much better than once every 6 months, and it gives you a lot more control. That's very important with this update. On top of that, Microsoft will now let home users pause updates, just as professional users were able to do that for up to 35 days. You can pause them in 7-period increments and do that for 5 times. So 7 times 5 is 35. And after you check the updates in Windows Updates, Windows won't automatically install them. You'll have a choice to pause the updates if you like. We're going to go through all that after I review some of these really cool things. Also, what's happening, you know, some of those cheap Walmart laptops you used to get for $200, and you know, you could see it was really great. You know, you thought you were getting a bargain, but unfortunately, it only had 32 gigs of RAM to storage, or 64 gigs if you're lucky. And so what happened, whenever Windows 10 came up with an update and it was too big, it would freeze the computer and render it worthless. You couldn't do anything with it anymore. So Microsoft gets smart now, and they're going to say, they think they're doing you a favor. They're doing themselves a favor so they don't go and have court settlements to do. But they're going to give you 7 gigs of storage. It's going to be reserved for updates as well as other programs. So, let's see. Okay, Microsoft is solving the problem by commandeering about 7 gigabytes of your PC storage and making it called reserve storage. The space is used for Windows updates, but programs can also store temporary files there. So when Windows needs space for the updates, it deletes the temporary files and performs the update. So in other words, when you install new programs and whatnot, the temporary files still remain there until the update that Windows is using will delete them to make room for their new updates. Does that make sense? Which is really good. So that's for people that have inexpensive computers. You still have plenty of room on your computer, so you don't have to worry about that. There's also a light desktop theme. Now, as you can see, I don't have it on this one over here. It looks pretty similar. But I'm going to go here real quick, and I'm going to go change. Here's the little man over here, the owner. I'm going to change to another user account. Now, after I downloaded this 1903 to this computer, it didn't change anything. But if you have a brand new computer, or if you create another user account, a brand new user account, it will actually install the new look. And this is what the new look is like. Hello. Around and around. It's like a chubby checker thing. Come on, Scott Masticelli. There you go. That's going to be the new look. And there's a whole bunch of other really kind of cool things over here that we're going to be going over. I'm going to go back to the old look a second. Go here. And we'll just go here. Okay. So that's a light desktop theme. It's really kind of cool. I'm just going to breeze over that because we don't have too much time. There's a thing called Sandbox for professional users. I'm going to go over that. A less cluttered default start menu, which is kind of cool. So all of this is going to be going away. So when I click over here, as you can see, this is the normal look. But back in the other look, oops, here, go back to Scott Masticelli again. And when you go here, there's going to be a lot less things here that you can add. You can add a bunch of things to this, and it's going to be much easier to remove some of these that you don't like anymore. You remember how you couldn't remove some of these apps? Now you can remove any one that you want, which is a really nice feature. Here. By the way, how do you like the look of this screen? Is it easier on your eyes than the projector?
Oh, yeah.
I kind of like it. You know, it's like Even though it's smaller, that's why we kind of configured the tables this way, so we could all see it a little better, but
Yeah, but I got a stiff neck looking up from this house.
yeah, it's kind of true.
It's like being in the front row of a movie theater.
Yeah, yeah, Tony?
Are you saying that they are going to automatically decrease the pins in there by themselves?
Decrease the what?
The pins that you can...
Pinned items.
The pinned items. They're going to decrease, you're going to lose those?
No, that has nothing to do with that.
Oh.
Now remember, this is only occurring if you do a fresh install on a computer and you update, you get the fresh install from a 1903 ISO, which is which you could do. You can actually create one starting next month. Or you can create another user account and it will look like the one I had shown you. It's a lighter look, it has some of these other features, but if you just do the update like I did, you get 90% of the updates without a couple of the other features. So don't worry about it. You're going to get a lot of these great things. A less cluttered default menu, and again, it lets you install more built-in apps. So if you want to install more of them, now you can. Windows 10 always lets you uninstall some built-in apps like Solitaire, My Office, Skype, but now it also lets you uninstall the built-in apps like 3D Viewer, Groove Music, Mail, Paint, 3D Paint, and stuff like that, which is stuff that we really could care less about. This doesn't extend to all apps, but there's still no way to remove the Edge browser or the Store app, which we don't want to remove anyhow. But one cool thing now is that Cortana and the search bar are separated. So here's the search bar, and this little circle here is still Cortana. So you can still talk to Cortana if you want. Most of us, I think, use Google, but some of us like to talk to Cortana, and it takes us where we want to go. That's a nice feature. The Start menu searches all of your PC's files. So, how do we do that? Well, the file search can be checked, and it can actually search everywhere. So say, for instance, I want to go to File. I click on down here at the bottom left, I just click here, and you see what the look is now? You can actually search sections of the computer or the whole computer at the same time. See? Which is kind of cool. So that's a new look. Passwordless login. We don't need a password anymore. But what it does, it actually will text your phone, a quick text, so you can log into your computer. Just don't lose your phone if you do this, all right? Because you won't be able to get into the computer anymore. So this is kind of a silly thing, but there's some nerds that absolutely believe in this stuff. I prefer not to have a password at all because I have enough passwords to remember. But that's another feature that they have, passwordless login. System tray icon for Windows Update. There's a way to put an icon here, which is kind of cool, where it'll let you know, has a notification system. You can head to the settings, update and security, Windows Update, advanced options, and enable the show a notification when your PC requires a restart to finish updating option to enable it. So in other words, when it does the updates, we don't know that it needs a restart. Most of us put the computer to sleep and we never really turned it off or restarted. Now they finally decided to put a little notification which we could turn on, and I'll show you how to do this here in a second, on the bottom app, right at the toolbar right here. So let's go there and see what they say. We have to go to Update, Advanced Options. So we're going to go here. We're going to go here. Update. Security. Windows Update. We're already in Advanced Options right here. This is all new, by the way, in Windows Updates. And you can actually turn this notification on. So now, whenever the update is ready, there will be a notification at the bottom, right over here, which is kind of cool. That's caused so many customers of mine problems because their computer won't boot anymore, they have problems, some things work, some things don't work. This will remind you to restart the computer to properly install the updates which are ready to be updated. Okay, so that's here. Virtual reality, we're going to breeze over here, and also see. I implore you to go and check this out because you see where it says howtogeek.com, and if you just Google howtogeek and then put 1903, you'll be able to find this. And then you could review this and just further review what I'm talking about. Automatic troubleshooting is pretty cool. There's a troubleshooter which is much more enhanced than it was before. It automatically fixes certain critical problems on your computer, and so we can go over that. I think it's, for me to really go in depth on this, it's kind of silly because none of us have this to practice with it. So I'm just going to review some of the things that we have, and we'll hold another class as some of us are starting to get those updates. That makes sense, right? Okay. Also, notification hidden in full screen apps. I really don't understand what this is, so I'm going to breeze over that. And Linux files, now it reads Linux files, which is kind of cool. So if you have a Linux machine and you want to transfer them to the Windows 10, it lets you read them. I don't think that affects too many of us here at the club. Notepad has improvements. Okay, more improvements and changes. This kind of one thing that is new over here in the settings is a search setting. You see, this is new right over here. So in the search, there's a thing in permissions and history, which in Windows search, web previews will not automatically load web results if they contain adult content. So you can actually, you know, you leave it off if you're a man, maybe if you're a woman, moderate, you know, just kidding. Whatever you want, you know, it's, so you can actually turn that stuff off and on, which is really kind of fun. And let's see what else we have over here. Storage, this is really good. There's a nice storage thing in settings. We can go to storage and you can actually see what's slowing your computer down. So we're going to go here, and then if it gets the settings, a little gear over here again. And we're going to go to System and Storage. System and then Storage. And now it's calculating all your temp files, apps and features. You see how it's spooling up right now over here? And so it'll actually find out a whole bunch of stuff and then make suggestions on what you can get rid of to speed up your computer. So that's a nice feature too.
It is.
And it's pretty cool. So I'm going to just close this out here a second and go on here. Date and time, it synchronizes your clock. You already do that, or we do that already. I'm not going to talk about that. You can change the active hours. This is pretty good. So say for instance you don't want the updates to occur during certain times, you could change your active hours or turn them off just by clicking on this, and that's within your settings for your updates. And on and on. So, you know, the tamper protection, they have so many wonderful features here that as it rolls out, and hopefully it will roll out by the end of the month. Then we'll be able to force the updates if we want and check them out. They won't allow the updates until all of the bugs are out of it. And so I just got a little preview of it because we join that thing when you click over here. If you really want to go and get it ahead of time, you could just go to your settings and you can go to your updates, update and security. And at the very bottom, it says Windows Insider Program. You see it down here flashing? If you click on the Windows Insider Program, it will allow you to download this as long as you have a user account. So you can just create a Microsoft account if you don't already have one, and you can get this downloaded. How do you download it? Once you're part of the Insiders Club, you just click on Windows Update, and then you hit check for updates. And it will find the new 1903 because it released your name within their system to say, yes, this guy's an insider and he wants to go check it out. So if you really want to get it a month ahead of time and start enjoying some of the features, you could do so. Any questions?
Maybe after we try it.
What was that?
Tell you after we try it.
Yes. Does anyone find that any of these features, a couple of them I think would be pretty relevant, you know, especially the fact that it's not going to force us to do the updates, and now we know that we have 18 months between these big upgrades that they have each time, so we're not forced to do it every 6 months like in the spring and then again in the fall. Yeah, Tony?
Are you recommending that we,
Clear that throat.
are you recommending that we get the new update as soon as possible or delay it until the kinks are worked out?
Well,
If we can?
I don't think it's going to hurt you to do that, but once you do that, we always could roll it back if we have a problem to the previous version by going into, you to reboot it. And you know how to reboot into, does everyone know how to go and fix their computer if it really messes up? How you can actually reset it or get into that section?
No.
Well, what you have to do is you hold your shift key on your laptop or computer, and then you, while you're holding the shift key down, you hit restart. I'll show you what it looks like. I'm holding the shift key, and I'm going here, and I'm going to hit restart. And I'm still holding it, and it's taking a little longer because I have 2 user accounts open. Well, anyhow, when it restarts, it gets...
You guys have restart anyway.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's all there is to it?
I'll show you what happens here.
See it?
It's the worst case scenario, this is a way to fix your computer. You know, you can't stand it anymore, but you can still boot up if it's too slow or whatever you want to do. We'll just do that.
What does this fix?
Excuse me?
What does this fix?
This fixes issues, say if your computer's running really slow or you have a problem with an update that you just did, you can always go back to where it was before, as long as you can keep booting up. This screen will pop up. If you hold that shift key and hit restart, this is what will happen. And you're going to get over here to troubleshoot. And you can hit reset your computer. Now when you hit reset your computer, you want to keep my files. Now what does that do? If you have some exotic programs on your computer, it's going to remove these. You have to reinstall the programs, but it will keep all your documents, your pictures, your downloads, favorites, all that stuff will be kept. You don't want to click remove everything unless the computer won't start at all. Now, there's another way to get into this resetting the computer. If for some reason you can't even get to the screen, you want to go and fail that computer 3 times. So as you turn the computer off and you see that little circle of dots going, you hold the power button in until it completely shuts off. Do that 3 times and you're going to come up to this screen. Okay? It's important that you know that. The worst case scenario is if you really mess up, if you reset and remove everything, Tony and I are going to say, "But you should have come and saw us." So anyhow, that's a couple of tips, but
Just one thing on reset, expect to go a lot of hours, sometimes 3 hours before it's done.
yes, it's a long process.
It's a long process, so.
Tony, Scott.
So keep it plugged in too. Don't do this on just the battery because that'll really mess things up.
If you want to, like, say, get rid of your computer or give it to someone else or something, would that be?
Remove everything.
Remove everything, and it'll clean everything for you.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. That's a good, I'm glad you brought that up, Phil. Thanks. I'm done unless you have any other questions.
All right.